Then we have Krull. This is 80s kind of, I don't want to say He-Man type of 80s Excalibur meets Star Wars, according to Variety magazine type of movie. Just a fun 80s type of movie to watch. Along that same vein, you have The Last Starfighters, a science fiction movie, I believe, based on a video game. Then you have Liv Schreiber on The Last Days of Mars. I saw this, don't remember a lot about it. To me, it was just an okay science fiction movie, kind of slow moving. We have the Maze Runner double feature with the Scorched Trials. I like the science fiction film. It starts out with the lead character you see on the cover, kind of emerging from this elevator to this huge location that has this maze, and that's just how it opens up. It's a trilogy. The last one is The Death Cure. And I liked all three. Definitely worth the watch if you haven't seen Maze Runner and the trilogy. Next we have The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Sean Connery. Saw some reviews, not reviews, but some interviews, I guess, about Sean Connery in this. I guess he didn't really want to do this. He didn't understand the script, and he was really reluctant to do it. But I liked it. It was a different type of fantasy film. I don't even call it science fiction, more of a fantasy type of film. Left Behind, Nicolas Cage. One of those, can't think of the word right now, where it's the end of the world. It's actually mentioned in the Bible, and the actual name escapes me. But it's that type of movie, that type of event where everyone is leaving the earth, and those who are worthy to go to heaven and the rest stay behind. That's Left Behind. And we have Tom Cruise and The Legend, of Ridley Scott movie. Ridley Scott from the Aliens movies. We have Leviathan. This is a 80s classic, a Scream release. Really like this sci-fi underwater type of thriller. Here's the back scene, or the back cover art. Get the light on here for Leviathan. Then we have Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, and Rebecca Ferguson in Life. And the premise of this, astronauts go out into space and they find a new life form, and that's how it begins. Like, good action thriller. Definitely worth seeing. Limitless, I really like the idea behind this. The idea behind this is there's a pill that can release all the power of your mind, and you just have this phenomenal computer-like type mind, and Limitless about abilities of things you can do with your mind. So very interesting movie, very good thriller, very good action picture. Limitless. You have Bruce Willis, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Emily Blunt in The Looper. This is a time travel movie where Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually goes back in time to track himself. That's the premise of the movie. And here's the back art of this. And really did like this movie. Next we have Lost in Space, based on the television series, I believe of the either late 50s or early 60s, somewhere around the time frame. Not as good as a television show. There's a certain nostalgic kind of, I don't know, certain thing about the show that I guess the movie didn't quite capture. But I do like the Netflix version of Lost in Space. I do like that. But this is definitely worth the watch. We have the original Mad Max with Mel Gibson, classic Road Warrior. If you haven't seen this, you definitely need to watch the Mad Max series. Again, part of the Mad Max series. You have Mel Gibson and you have Tina Turner. There's a huge joke that Tina Turner was like 102 when she made this movie, and Mel Gibson was like 40. She still looked better than Mel Gibson, though. That's just a joke, though. But excellent movie to watch. Mel Gibson, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. We have Maggie, which was a very different type of Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's not an action picture. I don't want to give it away. It's just a very different type of science fiction / little horror type of movie, Maggie. That's a slip cover. I got this at the pawn shop, and unfortunately had the label over it, so I couldn't get the label all up. But it's not even going to sell it, so this is my collection. But I still hate when I see that crap. Anywho, we have Mars Attacks. This has a array of big names: Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan, which I'm not a huge fan of, at least as regards to Bond, and Danny DeVito. Just kind of a funny sci-fi picture where Martians attack. Midnight Special. I'm a huge Michael Shannon fan. I love Michael Shannon in Taking Shelter. I also love him in the remake of Superman. This is also a great Michael Shannon film, Midnight Special. Just a very different type of sci-fi. I don't like going into great detail because I like people, if you want to see it, you can judge for yourself what type of movie you think it is. But if you're a Michael Shannon fan, you haven't seen this, definitely watch this Midnight Special. Mimic trilogy. I remember the first one, not so much the second and third. This is one of those what's growing in the sewer type of movies. A very fun type of action horror thriller movie, Mimic. And I believe Charles Dutton, The Rock, is in, not The Rock, Daryl Johnson, but the television show from the 80s, The Rock. Charles Dutton, I believe, is in the first one, Mimic. And we have Sam Rockwell in Moon. Very different type of sci-fi movie. Not a lot of action. It's more of a thriller, suspense. But if you have the patience, I definitely think it's worth watching because of the twist at the end. The Moon. It's a slip cover. And that is the can you get rid of that glare? It's rainy outside, so I can't really have the sunlight going, but that's the slip cover. And then we have Morgan. Also like this is, if you've ever seen the movie Species from the 80s, it's that type of movie, Morgan. And a Kino Lorber classic, Needful Things, with Ed Harris, Max Van Sydow, and Bonnie Badella, based on a Stephen King novel. Really like this. I had the DVD for years, and I actually got the Blu-ray probably this year or last year. If you like Stephen King, I definitely think you'll like Needful Things. We have Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman, a futuristic, somewhat apocalyptic type of sci-fi movie. Definitely worth watch if you like Tom Cruise or Morgan Freeman. Power Rangers. I'm not a Power Rangers fan. I hated the television show. My son wasn't even that big of a fan of it though, but this was a lot different than television show. Not quite as hokey. So if you're not familiar with the television show Power Rangers, or if you are, you might actually like this. It's a decent show. I think give a decent account of the background of Power Rangers, how it began. And we have the classic Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator 2 with Danny Glover. the remake of Predators, the Robert Rodriguez version, which I really liked. Had Danny Trejo in there and Adrian Brody. Believe had one of the characters from the Yakuza tribe or something like that, from one of the Asian mob tribes. That was probably my favorite character in Predators. We have the slipcover for Predators. And we have Project Almanac. I believe it's another going back in time type of science fiction movie. And I am a Witch Mountain fan from the original Escape to Witch Mountain, which I have on DVDs. And I'm pretty sure they have it on Blu-ray, but you'd have to especially buy those, or you have to be part of the Disney movie group, which I'm not. But this is kind of a sequel to the original Witch Mountain movies with Dwayne Johnson. Race to Witch Mountain. I really like this. I think it did the original Witch Mountain movies justice. And this is the back cover. And this little cover. And we have one of my son's favorite movies, because he seems to be watch at least once a month, once every other month. Real Steel with Hugh Jackson. To me, this is just a real life version of the Rock'em Sock'em robot game from the 70s, just brought to real life. It's basically robots boxing each other. So if you like that kind of stuff, you really enjoy this. It's a cute film. Real Steel. And we have classic Jean-Claude Van Damme, Replicant. I believe this is another one where you see two Jean-Claudes at the same time. I think this is his third round doing this type of movie, but it's a fun Jean-Claude sci-fi action movie. We have Jude Law and Forest Whitaker with Repo Man. Really like the premise behind this. Basically, they repossess body parts if you don't pay. So if you haven't seen this, it's kind of a quiet, kind of a sleeper type of movie. Definitely worth the watch. Repo Man. And we have the Riddick Collection, which is the chronicles of Riddick and Pitch Black. It's really kind of hard to explain the Riddick movies in more than a few seconds, so it's just one of those sci-fi Vin Diesel type of things. If you haven't seen Pitch Black, I would definitely start out with that. And if you like that, the Chronicles of Riddick, and there is, then Vin Diesel Riddick, which is the third movie in the Riddick Chronicles, and I believe there's another one coming out in maybe this year, 2020. And I'm going to stop here with RoboCop. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, just hit the like button. Doesn't cost anything, doesn't take any time, just hit that like button. Other than that, if you have any comments, leave the comments. You guys have a great day. Peace.